guest speaker today, Kerri, the Director of Ticket Sales for Sprint Center and AEG. Kerri's a 2000 grad of KU. Before coming to the Sprint Center, she was working ticket sales for the West Michigan
Whitecaps,
West Michigan Whitecaps, single affiliate of the Tigers. So let's all welcome her to class. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. It's good to be back in Lawrence. Just drove over from Kansas City this morning. How many of you guys know what you're going to do when you leave KU? Know your career path? Raise your hands. A little interaction to start off the meeting. A couple of you? Okay. For everybody else that did not raise their hand, I was very much in your boat when I left KU. So I was a sport management major. Beyond being a sport management major, I didn't really know what that meant. Originally, when I came to KU, I thought I was going to be an accountant and learned very quickly in business statistics that probably wasn't best suited for my skills, wasn't my strong suit. So I transitioned over to sport management, went into an internship with the West Michigan Whitecaps. So there's three things that were pivotal in my career, getting me to the point where I was in sales, and these are going to be very odd. A phone book, a piece of gum, and then the third one, a hot dog. Those are very strange things, but those will all correlate to the reason why I am in sales today, 17 years later. When I went to the West Michigan Whitecaps, originally I was an operations intern. So in operations, basically you get the stadium ready. So we had a 10,000 capacity facility, and we worked to get the stadium ready for every game, 70 home games. I worked there for 6 years. During my internship, our general manager came to me when I was standing on the concourse one day, scraping gum off of the concourse because it was our job to make sure the stadium looked great, and said, "Do you want to do this for the rest of your life?" And obviously, I said no, because who wants to scrape gum for the rest of their life? I didn't really see my college career paying off scraping gum for the rest of my life. So that correlated to me transitioning to sales. They had an opening. They wanted me to work in sales. So I transitioned over to sales. Anybody use a phone book? We don't use phone. Oh, a couple of you guys use phone books. That's amazing. Awesome. In 2001, phone books was the life. That was the way that you got all of your connections. So I walked into the box office. They threw a phone book on the table and said, "Start making calls." For someone that had been in operations, this was very intimidating to me. Have any of you guys been in a situation where you're not quite sure what you're doing, ever? Happens, doesn't it? And what do? Sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, get that confidence, and figure out a way to make it work. So if there was a big hole in the ground, I would have probably swan dived right into that hole and just not picked up that phone book. But instead, I utilized that to learn how to sell. Today is very different because we can definitely not need the phone book. Sales are about relationships versus just saying, "Do you want to buy tickets?" So that's the second thing. The third thing is the hot dog. So as an intern, you do everything. You pull tarp, you roll hot dogs, you're doing everything. That might not be very exciting or sexy, as you like to say, but what you can do is take a situation that you feel like maybe you're not benefiting from and utilize that to your advantage. So what I was able to do was have dialogue with our leadership group and learn why they were there and that they were working side by side with us. So those three things got me to where I was in sales and baseball. 5 years later, I decided to transition to arena sales, and that brought me back to Kansas City to AEG and Sprint Center. Kansas City was building a new arena. They did not have a sports team. They were entertaining the Pittsburgh Penguins. Anybody a hockey fan? Oh, we got a lot of hockey fans. So basically, I attribute getting back to Kansas City from the Pittsburgh Penguins. They dangled the carrot and basically used Kansas City to get a new arena, but that's what got me to AEG. They needed a salesperson. So when the Pittsburgh Penguins did not come to Kansas City, we basically started selling premium seating. And Dr. Bass, I'll have you play the AEG video if you'd like. We'll have you guys check out a video.
This is the hockey version. What did AEG
the AG one.
Everyone has moments in their life that they'll remember forever. Memories made of sound and passion, of intensity and cheat, of scope and spectacle. Once-in-a-lifetime moments, made even more powerful because they were shared with those around them. For 10 years, AEG has been giving the world reason to cheer. At arenas and stadiums. At sports events and exhibitions. At concert venues and music festivals. But that's just the beginning. Focuses on projects that revitalize communities, ones that redefine cities, like LA Live and the O2. Our goal is to create something no one has ever thought of before, to identify opportunity and seize it.
The Kings are the Stanley Cup champions!
Because we're sports fans, we know teamwork is the key to success. That's why we partner with some of the world's most respected businesses. Because we are music fans, we listen and lead with our hearts, valuing talent above all else.
Grammy goes to
We applaud our artists and audiences with passion. And we support the community in which we do business. We build places where people come together. Because when you get down to it, the only thing that really matters is what happens when the house lights go dark and the crowd roars. In the past 10 years, we've entertained billions of fans and presented more than 10,000 live events each year at over 100 venues around the world. Continue to redefine the future with access. Exciting content partnership with some of the biggest names in the business, including direct ticketing and the new mobile service. Access is a revolutionary new way for a fan to experience live entertainment. When it comes to entertainment, AEG brings impossible dreams to life. It's who we are. It's what we do. AEG, giving the world reason to cheer.
Everybody's ready to go to a concert now, right? Who can tell me what AEG stands for? Anybody? There's some hints on this campus for the letter A back there.
Arena Entertainment Group.
Close. Anschutz Entertainment Group. So Philip Anschutz is the owner of AEG. There's a couple buildings on campus that he and his family have donated through with the Anschutz Foundation, including the building we're in and the library, and then the Anschutz Sports Pavilion. Sprint Center is one of many AEG venues. So AEG is hardware and software. Hardware buildings, software AEG Live, which books acts. We also book festivals. How many of you have heard of Coachella? So Coachella is obviously a big one right now. That's an AEG event. Like I said, I came to AEG in 2007, so have been with the company for 10 years. Have worked in sales the entire time. I started in premium seating sales, which is suites, suite leases, and then VIP programs, and then transitioned to group sales and regular ticket sales. There's multi-facets to ticket selling. Anybody have an interest, a career in sales? Few hands, few half hands, few not sure. Like I said from the beginning, sales wasn't necessarily a career path that I chose in the beginning. What you will learn in sales is that you get very comfortable with yourself because you're put in situations where you have to develop relationships, and it helps you aspire and step towards other positions. There's typically a lot of sales positions with teams, with arenas. There might only be one marketing position, there might only be one events position or operating position, so sales is definitely a good stepping stone in a career path to get you more experience in what you're doing and really learn your program. I'll have Dr. Bass pay the Sprint Center video for us. This is a short one, it won't be as long. Okay, at Sprint Center we program over 100 events a year. Those range from concert, family shows, and sporting events. Most notably on the sporting event side, the Big 12 Men's Basketball Championships. Kansas City was awarded until 2020. We also will be hosting the NCAA Women's Volleyball Final Four this year in December. We've had Big 12 wrestling in the past, as well as some one-off programs. Harlem Globetrotters, the CBE Classic, which is a basketball tournament that at least one Big 12 team is in a year, and then other sporting events. What questions do you guys have for me in regards to ticket sales, Sprint Center, the arena? Anybody have something they're dying to know? Over here?
Is it just a myth, because I always hear that Sprint Center doesn't want a team after the whole Pittsburgh Penguin thing to actually make more money not having a resident team?
So that is probably our #1 question. Our building is equipped to house either an NHL or an NBA team. So we have home hockey, we have home NBA locker rooms, and then we also have visitors. We definitely would love to have a team. What it boils down to is someone that is interested in bringing ownership to Kansas City. So ownership bringing it to the table, because typically an arena doesn't own a team, with the exception that AEG has a couple teams that they own in LA and other places, but usually you have an ownership group that brings that to the table for an arena, or a team chooses to relocate. So we would love to have a team. It's definitely not hurting the success of the arena since we are able to host events such as the Big 12. When you have an anchor tenant, you hold a minimum of 40 days on the calendar for that individual team. So a lot of times, things that are routing through the city, whether it's a concert, a family show, or a sporting event, an arena wouldn't be able to play out because they're holding it for an anchor tenant. But we would love to have an anchor tenant if that is something that you could find that right marriage with the ownership. Right here?
So not having an anchor tenant, my question kind of is, how as the Sprint Center are you bringing in a constant revenue stream? Because I come from LA and like at Staples Center, like I see like non-stop events. Like they probably have an event at least like 300 the calendar day. So my question is, how are you bringing in that constant revenue stream?
Sure. So LA is the mecca of entertainment. If any of you have been to LA with LA Live, Staples Center, Nokia Theater, all of those, and with multiple teams. With Sprint Center playing out over 100 events and being situated right in the center of the United States, routing-wise for tours, it's perfect because we get a lot of tours that notoriously will go east or west coast and are able to stop. We don't have a lot of dark days in our building. There are some months where we literally are loading in. So it's just up to our events department to continue to be competitive. Our building is very sought after because of our rigging capability, which is a technical term. But when buildings come into our building to rig or to load in their lights, their stage, their sound, it is state of the art even though we're 10 years old. So it is something that is desirable to tours. Does that answer your question? Anybody over here? Right here?
So other than like y'all big events that like actually sell for themselves almost, what about like the small events? How do y'all increase the sales for those?
Sure. So one event that we just had over the holidays was Cirque du Soleil. Has anybody been to a Cirque du Soleil event? It's performance arts. It typically is a smaller show. That's not like a basketball game where it would sell out the entire arena. And we work closely in sales with our marketing department for media buys as well as grassroots out in the community getting the word out. Some events you do have to work harder than others and they don't sell themselves. For example, typically in October we try to get a preseason NBA or a preseason NHL game. As you can imagine, when the Miami Heat were hot, that was an easy ticket to sell. This past year, with all of the player trades, it wasn't as desirable. So you have to create a little bit more work in regards to all of your grassroots efforts, getting out in the community, getting the word out, making sure people know the event's coming, pricing the event right, so that's very important that your prices are right. A big trend in ticket sales is Groupon and those type of entities. So you'll always see offers on Groupon. If you guys don't look on Groupon for concerts. So it's a great way to get a deal, get a valuable price ticket, and see an event. Right here?
Are you guys going to try and redo the Big 12 championship basketball, or is that something that will ultimately switch after 2020?
Yeah, so in 2015 was the last time that there was a bid process. And there were 3 or 4 cities that were interested in the Big 12 men's basketball tournament. So those cities placed a bid in conjunction with their local sports commission. So we work very closely with the Kansas City Sports Commission to place a bid to get that event to come back. And in 2015, Sprint Center was awarded the Big 12 from 2017 to 2020. So in 2020, it will be a rebidding process, and Kansas City, of course, will bid to have the Big 12 back. It's a great fit.
What does that bid involve? What are you selling to the Big 12 when you say why it should be in Kansas City?
Yeah, so it's gotten a little bit more competitive, the process. In working with the Sports Commission and working with the building, you have to keep in mind not only do we want it at our venue, but is our venue accessible to all of the teams? Is the area surrounding Sprint Center desirable? So obviously if you've been to Power and Light and the hotels around downtown, you know that it's a desirable event for people that are coming out of town. So it's easy accessible from the airport. Hotels are relatively cost effective and easy to access. You have Power and Light across the street where they can do the festival. And then there are small things that you might not ever think of, but are doors timely. So when you're coming through the doors at an event, think about how much time you have to stand in line. Are there enough VIP areas for their hospitality? So there's a lot of different factors that kind of fall into that bid process.
What other questions I have for Kerri?
Right here.
Toughest, like the toughest thing about sales is, what's the toughest thing?
The toughest thing about sales. So when I first started doing sales and looking in the phone book, some of my more experienced coworkers would give me leads that I thought were great because they were helping me out, giving me leads. Well, they would give me people that had told them no multiple times or that would hang up on them. So you do have to be comfortable with rejection. In sales, not everybody's going to just love what you have. They're not going to want what you're selling. They're not going to want a Miami Heat ticket. They're not going to want a Harlem Globetrotters ticket. So you have to be comfortable that you're going to get a lot of rejection. It's just going to happen. It's the nature of the beast. If you think about people that call you, you don't always want a Sprint cell phone, or you don't always want new insurance, or whatever people are trying to sell you. So rejection, that's a big thing. I'm very competitive, so hitting numbers is important. So we work with promoters. Anytime we have an event that's coming in, it's a promoter that we work with. We establish goals, and hitting the goals is the number one you want to do. So that's hard if the market is not responding to what you're selling. Right here.
What's the internship like, and who do we contact?
So I can leave my contact information with Dr. Bass so that you can reach out and we can give you some information. That's a great question as far as internships. I obviously chose to do a second internship when I left the sport management program, besides the required one. I felt like that was the best opportunity for me to get real life exposure, but still kind of check out if I was interested in doing something. I could definitely give you information on AG internships. I would also check out the Sports Commission because they have great internships. Also, volunteering is very important. So you guys are at a place where if you have free time, try to volunteer as much as you can. One great example is if you're coming up for the Big 12, they have the Big 12 run every year. They've added that to the festival. Volunteer at the Big 12 run. It might not be glamorous. You're handing out medals or handing out water, and some of you might roll your eyes at that, but you might be working beside someone that is a connection for you for your future. So it's all about that experience and opportunity that if you're volunteering in places that are within your field or what you want to strive to be, that you can look for great opportunities with those volunteers. Back here.
How do you guys determine ticket prices, and are they often constantly changing throughout like different events and stuff?
That's a great question. So ticket prices at Sprint Center are typically set by the show or event themselves. So like, for example, we were just talking about Eric Church last night. That price point is set by the promoter. When we self-promote an event, such as a preseason NBA game, we do submit to the teams and ask for what ticket prices that we're interested in. And we do that because they're coming from other cities and we know our market. So our marketing department, our sales department, our box office, we pull all of our analytics and see what the average ticket prices that we want, ranging from your courtside seats all the way to your most cost-effective in the upper level. Do prices change? So a trend in ticketing is flex pricing or variable pricing. You'll see some promoters are going to that where they have sections that are flex pricing. So based on the popularity of the event, it could be one price or the other. And that's all a timing thing. If you've ever bought tickets online, you might see that sometimes the prices are changing, and that's called flex pricing.
How's the secondary market affected by U.S. prices?
So the secondary market is obviously a real thing. StubHub, everybody knows StubHub, buys off of StubHub, Ticket Galaxy. There's a lot of different entities that are second party sales. There are twofold in regards to second market sales. It happens everywhere. What we try to avoid is that people are not buying off of places that are not reputable, such as Craigslist. If you buy a ticket off of Craigslist and you come up to the building and it's a duplicate or a fraud, there's nothing the building can do about it, because technically whoever bought that ticket gave it to you, and someone else has the same ticket. So we can't put two of you in the same seat for a sold-out show. So a little tip, always make sure that you're buying off of reputable. StubHub is great, obviously, because they're insured. But second parties do probably pose a lot of problems for promoters. Basically, what we want the general public to have access to tickets. So if a second party is purchasing up a lot of tickets, then there might not be access. We try to block that by minimums. There are some promoters that have gone to day of delivery for e-ticketing, which basically slows the on-sale process for a second party that they can't post it online, send it to you for day of. There's some individuals that do credit card swipes, where if I'm the person that bought the ticket with my credit card, I have to swipe my card to get in the building. We have only had one show that has done that so far, but that's the way to get away from the fraud.
2 more questions.
Being in your position, what's your day-to-day schedule consist of?
Sure, so the one thing that I love about what I do is it's never the same. So you're not just sitting at a desk doing the same thing over and over and over. Taking back to that accounting thing, that wasn't my thing. We are selling entertainment. We're selling not vacuum cleaners, it's entertainment. So there's something different that is going on every day. I have staff, so obviously a big thing for me is leadership and working with my staff, working with the promoters. Part of that is sales. I try to spend at least several hours with my clients in regards to phone calls or setting up appointments or follow-ups. It's 2017, everybody uses these, so I have clients that text me, which sounds unreal, but that's the easiest way to sell. They'll send me a text message, we'll get them all set to go. Multiple meetings about whatever event's coming up. So we have Monster Jam this weekend. There's an event meeting today where staff will meet. We'll talk about safety, we'll talk about logistics, door times, any VIP that's going on, any security risks that we need to address based on what had happened previously.
One more question for Kerri.
You said you work with promoters, so for events coming to town, like who decides who markets and advertises and how does that work?
Sure, so it's not always the same. Sometimes promoters do utilize our marketing staff at the building, and sometimes they'll hire an agency. And an agency will place all of their media buys. Typically, we'd like to give shows advice, so if they turn in like their TV or radio schedule run, we tell them what we have seen has worked in the past and give them that advice. A lot of the shows do utilize the expertise of our marketing to place buys. So marketing is placing your media buys in addition to just being the thumbprint on the market. So knowing what's hot, what's happening, Facebook advertising, mobile advertising, there's tons of ways to advertise an event these days.
Thank you. Kerri, as a show of our appreciation, Willie's going to give you here some departmental swag and take a quick picture, and then we'll let you get back.
Sounds good.
Everybody give an applause to Kerri.